Okay, great rising beautiful beings, great rising beautiful beings. I'm not sure, but have you ever heard of the human stock exchange? Okay, theoretically, hypothetically, allegedly. Okay, we got a straw man. Our social security number is connected to a bank. Supposedly, we are worth hundreds of millions of dollars each individual human. Okay. So there's a meme going around. Maui fire, Maui burn. Biden funds Ukraine. North Carolina floods. Biden funds Ukraine. California burns. Biden funds Ukraine. Word on the street, they sent $500 billion. Ain't that something? Remember, for a long time, they kept saying they only had 5 deaths, and the number gonna change. But remember, for a long time, they said they only had 5 deaths in California. What that ginger spice is. And I said, that's a code. That's Hollywood. It's letting you know who did the sacrifice. Hollywood is based around 555. Okay. That's their magic. 555. Okay. So let's do 500 billion divided by 100 million. It comes to 5,000. So are they telling y'all 5 people died in California? Add 3 zeros to that. So what is actually going on? Why, whenever there's supposedly a natural disaster, a natural disaster in the United States, why every time there's a natural disaster in the United States, Biden sends or funds Ukraine? So what is happening? How the hell we all of a sudden, a country that's in debt, with all these banksters, how do they manage to fund another country when we don't even have the resources to fund another country? Say it again. How does this government manage to fund another country when we don't have cash backed by resources? Or do we have a resource, and that resource is called human resources? What the fuck? Say it again, Sky. We have no resources. Cash ain't backed by nothing but a promissory note. And every time we have a man-made natural disaster, somehow we're able to fund Ukraine. Not fund our people, but fund Ukraine. And that got to be a resource somewhere, right? There got to be a toll somewhere, like a human resource toll. Like casualties. Cashing out on casualties. Cashing out on the corporation. Cashing out on the corpse. Cashing out on the straw man. So, they kept saying the word 5 in them Hollywood Hills. Everything over there is Hollywood Hills. It's all surrounded and catered to Hollywood. Those people are not living out there because, ooh, I like California. It's all catered and circulated to Hollywood. LA, all the beaches around it, from Santa Monica, Venice to Seal Beach, all that, all them up in there. Okay? So let's get to it. So they did the code word 5. But you need to add zeros to that 5. Think about it. If he sent $500 billion to Ukraine, what resource is it backed by? What the fuck did you just cash in on? Y'all better learn the pimping hoe game. Y'all better learn the disposable game. Y'all sitting around here thinking that we just living. No, y'all better pay attention. In they world, cashing in on you for fiat currency is relevant to do business with other entities and countries. So, are we on the human stock exchange? That's going to be the title. Are we on the human stock exchange? Human resources. Because obviously the money ain't backed by gold no more. The money ain't backed by oil no more. The money ain't backed by water. Foreigners own the water systems. Foreigners own all the gold deposits. Foreigners own all the oil. And the only time people get paid from the oil wells is when they want to pump oil so the energy and the frequency of America can have a low vibratory rate. Say it again, REVERESKYE. Let's say the oil people, let's use Texas for example. You got those ranchers out there, them cowboys. And they rolling in the dough. For some reason, they pumping oil this month. They pumping oil this year. They don't give a fuck about that money. They trying to stop the frequency from building up. Because if the frequency is high, what happens? Then they're irrelevant. Humans thrive. The little earthlings thrive. They have healing powers. They have psychic powers. They have supernatural powers when the vibratory rate of the planet is in its best potential. When they see the planet trying to crank up, remember the guy, the 13th son, he talked about it. He said she be trying to crank up, rum, 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 rum. And when they see she trying to crank up, they bleed her of her resources. Her blood, which is oil that pumps on all the lands, okay? So, when they rolling in the dough, they think they rolling in the dough and everybody need oil. No. They don't give a fuck about that oil. They'll let that oil leak all over the planet. They'll spill the oil in the ocean on purpose. They don't give a fuck about that oil. They want to make sure she don't vibrate at her highest potential. So all of a sudden they got a cap on oil. Oh, we're not going to use oil. We're not going to use oil. Da-da-da-da-da. We're not going to use oil. Okay. But as soon as she vibrate at her resonance and frequency, oh, gas done went down. Gas low. Gas low. Gas done went down. Gas cheap. Gas cheap. They inflate this shit for their gain. And they ain't got shit to do with money. They got to do with power and control. Money is just a tool to manipulate a person that don't know their worth. Money is a tool just to manipulate a motherfucker that don't know their worth. I told y'all clearly, if you got all your supernatural powers, you won't need food. You won't need money. You would be straight collecting source energy. But they had to dumb these bodies down so that you had to rely on physical support. Food, air, water. But if you're working in 100% of your brain, you don't need the body no more. You don't need the brain no more. You're going to be the light you're supposed to be. Remember, fine-tuning your physical vessel is so that you can operate fully with it. Meaning, imagine if you could put 100%, contain 100% of your spirit in your body. That means you're using your body at full capacity. Well, they broke DNA chains and they broke DNA codes and they corrupted your kernels. They tethered on other things to you like nanoparticles and stuff to disrupt your endocrine system and your lymphatic system and your thymus gland and your thyroid. They put you in survival mode so your spirit cannot operate in the body 100%. Your soul can't operate in the body 100%. Your brain can't use over 10%, 15%. Like, it's going to function whether you think or not. But when it comes down to you activating your abilities, it's limited. And they disrupted it and corrupted it on purpose. So yeah, the resource that they're using right now, and how do they know which resource they want to use? How do the banksters say, yeah, you could print $500 billion, but this is the resource I'm cashing in? The human resource is the only resource that's relevant right now. Say it again, REVERESKYE. The human resource is the only resource that's relevant right now. Like, you don't even see them. Imagine that. You thinking that they're funding a war. Okay, it used to be the banksters wanted people to go to war. The banksters got their eye on a specific country. They got their eye on their resources. So they will hire the United States to go in and kick their ass. This is hypothetically, theoretically, allegedly, right? I know people right now with their hands in their pockets saying, man, we need to go back to war. When we at war, money just be booming. These are what you call hustlers. And I'm looking like the only way you feel relevant is if you go to war. You really think money booming when people go to war? But who is cashing in? And on what? What are they cashing in on? And how were they able to come up with the body count so fast to even send that money over there? Like they saying, okay, we're going to send 500 billion over there. So our expectations is to knock off 5,000, 50,000. So maybe they weren't gone. Maybe they weren't passed away, right? Maybe they said, okay, we'll send 500 billion over there. So this is what you should expect from us. It's all codes. This is what you should expect from us. This is what we owe you. We owe you 5,000, 50,000, how much they ever worth. And they're not going to tell you the amount of people. It's up to humans to come up with a database for natural disasters so you can find your people. Good luck with that part. So now, and I know they don't like me saying this, but since the banksters have monopolized our water, our gold, our oil, our resources, our diamonds, and everything else, something said the Druids. I don't know why. The Druids. That's interesting. But since they have monopolized us and took full control over the United States, there's no other resource we can offer other than the human resource. Be mindful, be vigilant, people. Stay in tune with your biorhythms. Stay in tune with your conscious and your downloads. Know that if you are being disturbed, let's say you go to sleep at 10 and you wake up at 12:30. Let's say you go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 12:30. You're being disturbed. They want to, okay, so this is how it works. Your animation, let's say the house on fire, or you have an intruder. When you go to sleep, your spirit, your soul, your astral body leaves and go explore. Okay? On this plane, on other planes, other dimensions, it goes to explore. But they would cause ruckus in your real life. So you have to jump back in your body. And that is sleep paralysis. You're so busy trying to jump back in your body so that you can protect your vessel. You know, there's an old story. I think quite a few people know it. This lady had a boyfriend, old folks, this back in the day, 1800s, 1700s, 1500s. They had their home. And she was jealous because her husband liked to sleep and go to the dream realm. And she had a boyfriend that she used to have sex with. And she said, he in there sleep, done left his body. We should leave him in the other realm. So they killed him. They burned his body up and left him disconnected from his body. Because she was so jealous that he liked to go to sleep and travel in the dream realm. Time traveler. That's right. A lot of us be time traveling. You thinking we gotta find some fancy portal on the planet? No. You time travel in your dreams. You got full range in your dreams because you leave that limited body. You leave that limited vessel. So what I've noticed is they have started to try to disturb me, meaning send clear audio to my psyche to make me think things are going on around me in my fleshly being, my awake life, so that I jump back in my body. They're trying to stop me from traveling, from seeing the future, from seeing the past, from seeing the present moment, from spying, from being a monitoring spirit, as most shall say. So, if you go to bed at 11 and something wake you up at 12:30, they're probing you, they're distracting you. They need you back in your body. They don't need you having access to other information. So they'll disturb you. And if you have to keep waking up and looking around and checking your surroundings, do you know what that means? That means that your spirit, soul, astral body can't leave and go somewhere else. It's going to stay real close. Remember that time I said this guy kept coming to me saying, there's a shadow being with red eyes that's always at the end of my table. He did that for a whole year. So I said, I want to meet him. He said, you sure? I said, yeah, I want to meet him. And to make sure I was sure, I stuck my hand out to shake his hand. And I shook his hand. I said, I want to meet him. That same night, because my soul and my spirit and my motherfucking astral body was ready, I was sitting up out of my torso. My body was asleep on the bed. And my astral body was sitting up out of my torso. Like how you sit up on the bed, it was sitting up out of my bikini area. A being came to the door and said, would you like one blanket or two blankets? And my astral body said, no. And that motherfucker hauled ass. Now, let me tell you something. They know. That's why I got my phone on Do Not Disturb, all them bells and whistles, all them ringings and shit. All them distractions, all them noises, all them clunking and banging and popping. They know what the fuck they doing. They trying to keep you from leaving your body so you can time travel. So you can see through your third eye clearly. Remember, the organ, the pineal gland, is a portal to the actual frequency. So if you don't need the body no more, you're not limited to the frequency. You're able to see, all knowing. So they don't want you leaving your body, so they distract you. Now they're not gonna do it to everybody, because they know everybody ain't got the willpower to want to travel. Everybody don't have the willpower to want to travel. They don't give a fuck about their dreams. They don't give a fuck about none of that. So yeah, right now, the highest commodity on the stock exchange is possibly human resources. And while they sent that money, while California was still burning, that was the code to say, this how many people we willing to give up to cash in on. And always look at it as times two. So if they sent them 500 billion, I said 500 billion. That's interesting. They sent them 500 billion. That means the person who sent the money over there got 500 billion. And that means that the person who let them borrow the money or gave them the okay to send the money got 500 billion. Just think about it. Open your mind up. Try to understand. I'm eating this ginger. It's so spicy, y'all. I peeled it. I'm eating it. Actually, I'm just swallowing it. Because when I take a few fibers off and just swallow it. Because that heat sit in your gastric area and warm up them lungs. Yeah. Warm up the inside of your body. So, I don't know. I love y'all. And I'm almost at that point where I feel like socially I fulfill my duties. And hopefully y'all realize who the resource is sooner or later, right? The human stock exchange. The human resource. Until next time, unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free. By all means, you can always support this channel. You could donate on my website. You could get a tarot reading. You can buy products. Okay? I am a fully functioning business. Okay? Until next time, again, unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free. Bye.